It is a picture-perfect night here in Sparks, Maryland, just outside of Baltimore, the cradle of lacrosse, and we have got a perfect scene here for the 2025 Nike National All-Star Lacrosse game. The Americans against the Nationals, the best high school seniors who have just graduated will get it on one more time before heading to their college destinations. Welcome in, everybody. Mark Dixon joined by Mitchell Pelkey, and it is a gorgeous night. I'm excited for tonight. You're excited for the game. What do we have to look forward to?
Mark, this is the pinnacle for high school lacrosse. This is why you pick up the stick at a young age, to get here before the destination of college. It's going to be an exciting one. All Americans on this field. It's going to be a good one. Yeah,
this is a reward for these student athletes and the Nationals. When you talk about offense, All-Star games have a ton of offense, and the Nationals are led by one of the country's best.
One of the best. Right down the road, a BL product, Matt Higgins from California, boards at BL, and is going down the road to Maryland. He's an exciting product, one of the shiftiest guys out on the field, but it's going to be a tough one.
And when you talk about the American team, the number one recruit in the country, Brendan Millen.
You've heard the last name before, Mark Millen back in the day. McCabe, that was here 2 years ago, and Brendan, the number one player in the nation. He's got the name, but can he back it up here tonight to end off his high school career? We'll find out.
Two of the incredible offensive talents that we will see here tonight on Tierney Field from USA Lacrosse in Sparks, Maryland. Face-off is coming right up.
Join us this summer for the 13th Annual National ID Lacrosse Camp, a traditional, old-school, stay-away teaching camp where the focus is player development. Every year, our staff is comprised of multiple Division I players and coaches, so everyone who attends can learn from the best in the game. Spaces are limited, so don't delay. Apply today. Visit us at crabslax.com.
In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these two. They're all about having fun. That's fun. This is fun. Whoa. Too much fun? Nah, no such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So head to the coast and, well, just coast. Pump up the volume, or just pump up a pool floaty. From the boardwalk to the bay, come discover somewhere to smile about.
Just about to face off here at the 2025 National Senior Lacrosse All-American game. The Americans and the Nationals. There we take a look at our starting lineup, presented to you by Nike Lacrosse. Here's the starting lineup for the National squad.
Captain Anthony Rayo out tonight with a little hamstring action. Definitely a guy they're going to be wanting to miss. Bo Khan as well, product right down the road, headed to Syracuse. And Anthony Drago, New Jersey, going to Duke. Carry on that legacy down there in Durham. Going to be an exciting squad. This National squad looks good, Dixon.
They look good top to bottom. Their goaltender, Aiden Seibel, headed to the University of Maryland. The Americans, they're wearing the red jerseys tonight. Who jumps out at you from this squad?
Luke Bear, 100%. Top 5 recruit in the class, right down the field as well at St. Paul's. Going to UNC of Johnny Price from up north. Gavin Lynch going to take his brother's footsteps at Notre Dame. And obviously, you have Josh Marcus in cage.
Yeah, Marcus' father, John, a teammate of mine at Johns Hopkins long time ago. Josh out of the Staples School in Connecticut. We're getting ready to rock here from Sparks, Maryland. There's a good look at Marcus. Officials tonight, Joe Cieslak Jr., Scott Rayburn, Chris Fralicardi, and Charlie Obermeyer. Congrats to those guys. 4-man game, Mitchell Pelkey. That's how big a deal this Nike National All-Star game is.
This is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
This is the pinnacle for high school lacrosse. I mean, I said it in the intro. You go to high school, you go to some of these big-time schools to get to this point.
Quinn Ball will take the face-off for the Nationals. Diaz Matos for the American squad. Again, the Nationals are in the blue. The Americans are in the red. And right off the bat, that's what you want to see in an all-star game. A face-off violation. Ball goes to the blue team, the Nationals. Drago got things started. This is Higgins. You featured him in the open. Quick, shifty, talented attackman headed to the University of Maryland. Little substitution game. Nationals, Drago, little hitch move. Feet inside, knocked away. Picked up by Triolo. Nice ground ball, and it is up to Robbie Hopper, number 1 in red. Excuse me, that was Johnny Price with a tough ground ball. The lefty wearing number 4 in red. Another turnover. Here come the Nationals. Jitters, nervousness, anything like that in play at the opening whistle?
Definitely. I mean, we've a packed crowd. We've seen a bunch of college coaches here, obviously, as their players are incoming to show out and support. But this is the last time these guys can potentially play with some of their high school teammates. A lot of jitters. Really the last time they're going to be wearing their high school buckets as well. So it's kind of a farewell at the same time.
Tremendous honor to be named to these two squads. The way that they are picked, you've got 4 captains. Shot underneath. Marcus gobbles that one up. The captains for the Nationals, Teddy Lally and Anthony Rayo. Captains for the Americans, Brendan Millen and Brady Scaletti. And then they pick their teams.
They pick their teams is right. I mean, I think that's cool for these guys. It's a little bit different, a little untraditional, but I think that's what makes this event super fun.
First settled opportunity for the Americans. This is Luke Bear, headed to the University of North Carolina. Gets the ball up top to Gavin Lynch. He'll go to Notre Dame. Lynch is a big Harry Potter guy, is what he describes himself as. Shot goes wide, backed up by the Nationals. Quinn Kelly, a Harvard commit, wins possession for the boys in blue.
Gavin Lynch, like I mentioned as well, taking over his brother's shoes at Notre Dame. A traditional midfielder, not like his brother as a face-off man, but it's going to be exciting to kind of take that over. A lot of Chaminade kids at Notre Dame this year and currently there. That's where the Kavanaughs went as well, and Liam Entenmann. So there's definitely a pipeline.
The Flyers, and congratulations to their longtime head coach, Jack Moran, retired. Saw his son Ryan earlier today, head coach at UMBC. On the doorstep, the shot just over the crossbar, out of the stick of Jake Struck. He will be headed to the Ohio State University. Mitchell Pelkey, a Powell graduate in Columbus. What a run by the Buckeyes this year.
Great run. It was an awesome run because I was next to you. Championship game. We were doing that live. That was super fun. But cool to see Nick Myers and that group. They definitely deserve that, seeing the foundation they've put in place for many years.
I thought Coach Myers was going to take you out. In one of the interviews, he was so excited. He was ready to roll.
The Gannon Matthews clip. That's iconic.
Yeah. Shot down the wing. Just wide. Possession stays with the Nationals. Number 19, Owen Cran, headed to Virginia. Feet up front. A little behind the back. Marcus with the save. Fills up the cage nicely. But for a guy his size, he's a little stout. Good lateral movement. Nice save right there, hugging the pipe and denying the opportunity by the Nationals.
I think the thing to watch for this year is UNC's recruiting class, number 1 in the nation, ranked by Inside Lacrosse. Josh Marcus, Gary Merrill, Anthony Rayo, Luke Bear, a bunch of 5 stars.
Higgins, a little bit of a hitch move, stopped by Bryce Leiden, 46 in red. He'll head to the University of Michigan. Number 1 in blue is Adam Udell, a future teammate in Ann Arbor. And there's Marcus again with a save. Ball pops into the air and lands in the cross of Grayson Dunn. He'll be headed to the University of Delaware.
We got 2 Delaware guys out here, Grayson Dunn, Matt Triolo. It's cool to see. We got some CAA, soon-to-be A10 talent out here.
Got a Jacksonville commit in this game as well. Kai Smith, midfielder for the Americans, wearing number 11 with the ball right now. Little pick, shot. It's like Seibel had it originally, but it just trickles in. And the Americans get on the board. That is Scaletti headed to Duke.
Scaletti using that pick. That's a little bit of a veteran move there. Using the pick, sizing him up as a little bit of a shield. Hard for Seibel to see that ball shooting over top. For Aiden Cage, he doesn't know where that ball is going. Obviously, the distraction in the pick play, mandatory.
Scaletti, one of the captains. He's lived in 5 different states.
Wow. Do we know the states?
I don't know the states, but he's lived in 5 different states.
That's interesting.
Just to make it fun, let's say it's Hawaii, Texas, Florida, South Dakota, and Vermont.
I like that. You know that had to be the orientation name and fun fact.
One of the questions was, what would you do with $200,000? And most of these guys said that they would buy a pretty high-end vehicle. What would you do with $200K?
I would. I'm an old school guy. I'd put it right in the stock market.
I like it. I like it.
What would you do?
I'd pay off college tuitions and then maybe take a nice vacation.
There we go. There we go.
Bogue Hahn, lefty, little feed down. Shot. There's Marcus again. Right into the stick, however, of number 4, Matt Triolo. You just talked about him a little bit at a John Glenn High School in New York. His pregame music, Lana Del Rey.
Wow.
What do you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10?
10 being the best, I'm going 2.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm kind of feel like I'm like you. I'm old school. I'm a classic rock guy a little bit.
Lana, when I read that, I was like, is that a misprint? Lana Del Rey? But hey, to each his own. Whatever gets you fired up.
I like that. We got old school and new school up here in the booth, so we might be going back and forth all night.
Sure. Plays a little sloppy, kind of to be expected, right? I mean, these guys are all alphas on their team, the best players on their team, and now you're in a collection, and you're just not familiar with each other. But here's Robbie Hopper. He has got some jets. He comes down, fires it, just goes wide, and there's another run out by the Nationals, Quinn Kelly. Again, headed to Harvard. But Hopper, he is a game changer.
He's a game changer. UVA filled that spot with Ben Ware for a couple years. They're sliding right in Robbie Hopper with that same position. Similar body type, similar play. I could see Robbie, rocking the orange and navy down in Charlottesville and being a really big contender for that squad this next year.
Yeah, you talk about Ware roaming Klockner Field the last few seasons. Hopper seems like the successor to Between the Lines as that shot by Drago goes over the pipe. Higgins challenging the defense of Leiden. We'll see these guys battle for years to come. Maryland and Michigan in the Big Ten. Shot. Hahn knocked down by Hopper. Ground ball on the far side. Hahn gooses it. It's going to cruise over the midfield line for over and back violation. Brendan Millen has checked into the contest for the Americans. Little feed into the middle of the field and a finish. That is Gary Merrill headed to North Carolina.
Gary Merrill, second overall in the class of 2025. A guy that we've seen time and time again. The simple pass inside, the jump shot, playing football and lacrosse down there in Chapel Hill. So it's going to be exciting to see him potentially on the sideline next to Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and you went to Ohio State. Pretty good football program there. Any of your teammates do the dual sports, football and lacrosse?
None of our teammates, but at the same time, there's so many good athletes. You heard Greg from ECD talk about it. The amount of play style and quality of play in this year's era, it's crazy. We're going to continue to see a lot more of that.
Things are exciting in Chapel Hill with Coach Belichick. Tore up the turf in Kenan Stadium. Natural grass come August.
As a guy like yourself that probably played on a lot of grass back in the day, you're a fan of grass.
Love grass. Love grass. As a little kid, I wish we had turf because whenever it would rain, you get canceled or postponed or whatever. But nothing beats a nice grass surface. Millen wheeling and dealing. Ball up top to Jackson Marr. headed to the University of Pennsylvania. Another feed inside, knockdown. Good defense by this national squad. Tough ground ball in the middle of the field, picked up by Marr.
Jackson Marr, in my opinion, is a player to watch at the next level. Attackman at Bullis, but has the stature to be that, Sergio Perkovic out of the box, to play both sides. So it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Murphy does with Jackson at Penn.
Scaletti, two-man game, stop and a pop from the outside. That was Johnny Price, headed to Georgetown University. His family, a deep tradition of Loyola Dons. Roll Dons roll. Price working behind the cage. Gets it up top to Lynch. Lynch fires it just wide. Jack Bickle playing some defensive midfield. He'll also head to Georgetown, number 17 in blue. His fun fact, he sleeps in his game underwear the night before games.
Interesting. You think they're washed?
I'm not going that deep into it. That's not in the Mitchell Pelkey superstition realm?
That's not.
No?
I was not really a superstitious guy. I was like, let's laugh, let's have fun.
Uh-huh.
Let's maybe hit a couple frogs and let's do it live.
Were you doing the frog back in Columbus? Be honest.
We were.
You were? Okay.
Post game, in game, in huddles. We had to keep it light. That's what we're there for.
3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It has been all Americans, 2-0. Marcus again on top of that one. Good run out by Smith. Picks it up and curls back into action. Here come the Americans. Grayson Dunn. Right down Loveton Circle. Ball goes wide, stays with the red. Luke Bear on the restart. Great change of direction. Gets top side, whips it just wide. Possession staying with the Americans. When you talk about offense these days in college, you mentioned some players being able to run out of the box. Jackson Marr was one of them. Really, when you ask kids, what position do you play? They're like, I play offense.
Yeah.
It could be midfield, it could be attack, and I think that's going to continue to evolve.
Definitely. I think nowadays, too, when you get to college, it's free game for a lot of these coaches. I mean, the amount of players that you've probably seen your son's friends with that go to college, the offensive midi or now defensive midi, there's so many different opportunities these coaches put their players in. So it's offense or defense, really.
Yeah. A lot of teams will tell you that the defensive midfield, in essence, becomes your second midfield. They're on the field so much and transition opportunities. Good slide. That's Nick Voltis, headed to Michigan. Shot, Marcus deflects it again. And this is Gary Merrill. He already has a goal in this contest. Good substitutions by the Nationals. Millen with a short stick. Drags him down the alley. Gets it underneath. Feet across. Good idea by number 32 in red. That's Ollie Nolting. Younger brother of Asher Nolting. Star at High Point now with the Boston Cannons in the PLL. Nice little cross-field feed is not handled. Rolls to the end line. Great hustle.
Look at that.
All-star game, selling out.
Selling out.
Wilton Tillo headed to Duke. Short stick midi starts the transition and some more sloppy play. These guys just getting used to one another. But, I mean, we were here a couple hours before we went on the air, and the vibe here is very positive. The guys seem to be really enjoying themselves.
Definitely having a lot of fun. I think the aspect that's tough for an event like this is not too much chemistry with these guys. You see them on the summer circuit, maybe on the same team or you play against a lot of them, but you don't have the opportunity to get in front of them. And we have a shot and goal.
This little individual effort. Number 19 in blue is Owen Cran. He'll be headed to the University of Virginia. Just a nice little move underneath.
Just a little right to left split, going across the crease, little fake high, shoot low, textbook. We probably saw Mark do that back in the day. Cran headed down to Charlottesville.
And I'm actually going to make a correction. We have 2 number 19s on the Nationals, and I believe that was the other 19, Michael Ortlieb out of Malvern Prep. Look at it. See, I'm not seeing things. There's 2 number 19s. You see that?
Owen Cran, we're going to give that
so
one
listen,
to you.
So Cran is going to say that was my goal, and Ortlieb's going to say that was my goal to all the viewers out there. As my old high school soccer coach, Buck Stork, would say, name in the paper, date for the prom.
There we go. I love that. Now it's name on Inside Lacrosse. And Gary Merrill with another one.
And that play was started by your man, number 1, Robbie Hopper, just creating chaos in the middle of the field.
Robbie Hopper, a.k.a. some people call him the Spider. So long, spread, 6'3", 6'4". With a guy like that, you honestly would have him in some of the offensive shooting drills down there at Charlottesville, would you?
I don't know. I think you don't want to discourage it, but I'm not so sure that you practice it, because I think with long stick middies and poles, it comes so instinctually. You almost don't want to overcoach that. Well, it's been a sloppy but entertaining first quarter of action of the 2025 National Senior All-Star Game. The Nationals are down 3-1 to the Americans. Terrific goaltending by Josh Marcus. We're back with second quarter action. Don't go anywhere. It's a beautiful night.
What happens when a world-class luxury vehicle meets a luxurious first-class facility? You call it Sheehy Lexus of Annapolis. Right now, visit us in-store and choose from a great selection of new Lexus vehicles. Or build your own deal however you want and wherever you are at SheehyLexusofAnnapolis.com. With an unmatched combination of selection, service, and purchasing flexibility, it's never been easier to find the perfect Lexus at Sheehy Lexus of Annapolis.
In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these two. They're all about having fun. That's fun. This is fun. Whoa. Too much fun? Nah, no such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So head to the coast and, well, just coast. Pump up the volume, or just pump up the pool floaty. From the boardwalk to the bay, come discover somewhere to smile about.
For 2025, Toyota is the best resale value brand for the 5th year in a row. With 3 of the top 5 vehicles, including Tacoma, ranked number 1. Proving that Toyota quality means affordability today and trade-in values you can trust tomorrow. Right now, lease a Tacoma for just $259 a month, or buy one with 3.75% APR financing. Toyota, let's go places.
The Americans enjoying a 3-1 lead. The boys in red, big reason, number 44, Josh Marcus, their goaltender, headed to the University of North Carolina, has been terrific. The coaches for tonight, the Nationals, led by Gene McCabe, who is the head coach at Washington and Lee, and his assistant is Taylor Mendoza. And then for the American side, it is Gettysburg head coach Peter Toner and one of his assistants, Nick Cardio. Right off the face-off, a shot, and there's another run out by the boys in blue, the Nationals. Another heady play, and that is Evan McFarland, headed to the Georgetown University, I should say. Yeah, Georgetown, a team really built on defense in 2025, getting an infusion of more defenders coming to the Hilltop.
They got some good transfers this year with the boys from Colgate,
Yeah,
the brothers,
the Connor brothers,
which will be fun to watch. I'm really excited to see Bogan join the Syracuse offense with Joey Spleen and Michael Leo, those guys in their senior year, right? They're kind of due, some would say. They went to the Final Four, obviously didn't get it done, but it's going to be exciting to watch the boys in orange up north.
Yeah, and you think about Syracuse and that disappointing end, but getting to championship weekend was such a thrill for their alumni, for their players, their fan base. Nice shot. Just goes wide out of the stick of Johnny Price. But when you think about Syracuse and you have Jimmy McCool between the pipes, Billy Dwan defensively, that is just a group that, like you said, they're one team that I think if you put together, and I'm not into this, like way early rankings, a lot of folks have the Cuse in their top 3, top 5.
Definitely. I think Cornell's still up there for a lot of people. I think Maryland, I think Cuse, even UNC with this recruiting class, right? Yeah. I don't know how many 5-stars, but they definitely have the best recruiting class coming into college this year.
And when you talk about players like Owen Duffy, Dom Petramala, Chase Salucci had an outstanding freshman season, close defense. Brady Wambach, first-team All-American, face-off man. It's just all about putting it together. But you could say that about 70 other Division I men's lacrosse teams.
I think with this year in particular, going into May, you could really see if any team could win it. There was no real distinct.
Yeah. And again, there's number 19, and that is Ortlieb. I can see it on the back of his jersey, Mitchell Pelkey.
So now they both got one. There we go. What a placement.
Yeah.
What a placement. Kind of using the shield again, but getting that bottom low corner. We call that a coffee can.
Nice. I like that. Ortlieb out of Malvern Prep. Headed to Duke University. Duke, an early exit from the NCAAs again this season. First round loss to Georgetown. Trying to replenish some of their graduated offensive talent. Nice face-off win by Quinn Ball. He will head to the University of Pennsylvania. Talked about him earlier, a Chaminade product. Wore the number 19 jersey, Jimmy Regan's jersey, a Chaminade and Duke graduate, so a tremendous honor for Ball. And he'll follow in Regan's footsteps heading down to Durham.
Definitely. The Long Island to Duke pipeline is real.
Yep.
From St. Anthony's to Chaminade as well, but you definitely see it on both sides. We have another one there.
It's a beautiful look. The finish by Cam Kelly. And the pass is from number 17. That's Jake Bickle.
Cam Kelly. He was one of those on the recruiting circuit. You knew he was going to be a big-time player.
Yeah. Played for that primetime club team. Several of his club teammates in this game. But Kelly is the real deal. Size, strength, athleticism, and there you see soft hands.
Soft hands for sure.
There's some tic-tac-toe passing, and Millen, bunch of fakes, and beats his high school teammate, Seibel. And now the goals are starting to come fast and furious.
They definitely had a lot of those battles. Aiden and Brendan playing together on Team 91 Fire back in the day, obviously high school ball, and they were exchanging some laughs, some words after. But kind of a pretty finish. Watching out for the goal mouth there.
Awfully close.
Trickling in.
I like it. You're thinking like a referee. That means you're going to be no fun anymore. Good ground ball pickup off of the wing for the Nationals. Oliver Skeen, he will head to the University of Maryland. And they're looking for a little bit more depth at that long stick midfield position with the graduation of Jack McDonald. They got A.J. Larkin coming back, but Skeen off of the wing. Nifty pickup right there.
He looks good. I think the Josh Marcus play. Headed to UNC next year. They have Kent Good. Mikey G just left. That question mark down there, who's going to be in between the pipes, is going to be interesting.
It will be. You got Good coming back. Then you've got Goose Wilson, Luke Origi, and now Josh Marcus in the mix. So that's a goalie room of some pretty capable guys. Good was the primary backup this year that got all the minutes when Mike G was out of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Nice little move down the alley, and there is Marcus again, the hands.
he's there. I think just looking at this field as a whole, I think we're going to see a lot of these guys potentially playing first year.
Could be, yeah. Marcus, unofficially, I got him at what, 7, 8 saves? Somewhere in that neighborhood?
Could be creeping up to the MVP.
Front runner? You're making the call?
I think potentially
You're making the call. 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Mitchell Pelkey's throwing it down. Here's the MVP.
You want to be right. You got to bet early.
Hey, I hear you. Scared money don't make money. Millen headed to Virginia. Nice feed. Good idea. Picked off by Quinn Kelly. Kelly's been impressive in this game so far. Headed to Harvard. Nice one-handed snag by Miguel Iglesias. He'll head to Notre Dame. You talk about Virginia, disappointing season in 2025. Offensively, you graduate Griffin Schutz in the midfield. You lose Noah Chidsmar, short stick D midi. How do you see the rest of the things shaking out? The news breaking recently that Ryan Colsey left and will be attending Duke. How do you size up Virginia and their kind of bounce back?
I think Virginia is a team like Duke, like UNC. They're always going to have the 5 stars of talent. It's just how are you going to put the puzzle pieces together, right? You even have the breaking news the other day of Kip Turner just stepping out of coaching. Who's going to fill that role? We don't know yet. We'll talk to McCabe Millen here at half and kind of dive in on what this year looks like. But I think they have the pieces. It's Lars Tiffany and that offense of how we're going to put it together.
Kevin Cassis, we see Coach Cassis, the offensive coordinator for the Cavaliers, in attendance. Nifty stick work, one-on-one, and a nice finish by Iglesias. Another one of those prime time club members having an impact on this game.
You got to like this. A little shorty on short, a little up and over. Like that. A couple fakes. Bing bong, how you doing? Miguel Iglesias.
And you can see that all-star defense. That if that's a regular game, that slide is coming adjacent.
There's bodies on the floor.
Yeah. But instead of bodies on the floor, it's to all the girls I've loved before. You've
had this guy.
You ever heard that? I'm sure you've heard your father play that record.
Pops probably did.
Willie Nelson and Julio Iglesias.
I like that.
That was a hit back in the day. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a banger.
Yeah.
Not a banger.
We listening to any hip hop music or are we all classic rock?
Oh no, man! I grew up at a time where the hip hop stuff. I mean, you're talking Tribe Called Quest. NWA hit the scene.
Yep.
That was Public Enemy. That was it was like late 80s, early 90s.
There we go.
Young MC. You ever heard Young MC?
I don't think I have.
Bust a
honestly.
Move?
Oh yeah, Bust a Move. That's a classic.
Come on. What's the matter with you? Brendan Millen, little twister. In 5 days from now, he's going to marry.
There we go. Right on cue.
Feed across. Kelly.
Bang.
With the finish. Feed from Ortlieb. And we're seeing some really slick passing this quarter, especially from this Nationals team in blue.
Look at Michael with the no-look pass. Cam Kelly, you said it before, soft hands on the doorstep. Josh Marcus can't make that save. But again, another product in Notre Dame, and I think we're kind of overlooking Notre Dame, I feel like, in this next year. Truthfully, because I think the standard for them is set so high, right? Obviously, you did a bunch of the games this year. You're watching college lacrosse. Where's your opinion on Notre Dame in 2026?
It's going to be the PK era, post-Cavanaugh's.
Yep.
But I think they've got talent coming back. I think they're good between the pipes with Richard Deli. I think for Notre Dame, it is establishing some type of outside shooting presence. Who can stretch a defense? I think we saw when Notre Dame struggled this year, meaning when Kavanaugh couldn't get inside. There's a shot and another goal, and that's a shooter who can stretch the defense.
Yep.
Jake Bickle, sleeping in that game, underwear and everything. It is paying off for number 17 in blue.
Bickle, Georgetown, we mentioned the transfers they're getting in the stacked recruiting class. Could be a two-pointer. Kind of sprays it a little bit, but he looks good from outside. Bickle in the underwear.
In the underpants. Yeah, look at him. No, but I think, for Notre Dame, it's because when Penn State went zone in that quarterfinal game in particular, but there were other instances in the season where Notre Dame just could not get pressure on a goaltender from long distance. I think that's something. I think they also missed now rising sophomore Matt Jeffrey toward the end of the season. He, I think, is an X factor, a guy who can do a little bit of everything. He's a tremendous athlete, so I think getting him back healthy is going to be good. And I think the one thing that you kind of not struggle with, but Faison doing the dual sport thing, how long will that continue for Notre Dame?
Yeah, Jordan, he said on the show that he's going to try to play all 4 years, both sports. And I think the real test is going to be his body. Mm-hmm. How is it going to hold up?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the aspect that we saw in Matt Jeffries, where he's playing football in the fall and kind of got banged up in the earlier part of the lacrosse season. Then we kind of saw the real Matt Jeffries towards the end of the year.
Shot near post. Millen, question mark. Turn back, beats Seibel.
Right to left. Attack the body, get some separation. Near side. What a shot by Brendan Millen. That's 2 on the day.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned earlier, McCabe Millen will be hopping on with us at halftime. Got MVP 2 years ago. We could be seeing a brothers duo run it back.
You said you had Jordan Faison on your show. What show is that?
So that's the Mitchell Pelkey Lacrosse show. So actually, after the tailgate of the national championship game last year, we went to the tailgate and celebrated with the team, did the interviews live, and did the whole show live in the parking lot. And he mentioned it. He said, I'm going to continue to play lacrosse as long as I can, and the plan's to play all 4 years.
You got to talk up your show, man.
Got to spread the word. Show every Wednesday, 9 a.m. on TLN, and February through September.
Nice. Feed inside. Nice. Oh, I thought it was a nice handle. Ty Chenard, number 6 in red, was the target, but it was picked off. Excellent job by, once again, I'm going to say his name, number 28, Evan McFarland. McFarland and Kelly down there, a good 1-2 combo for this Nationals defense, getting him back in the game. There's Bogan, rings it off the crossbar. Kelly hands back, and he just punishes the upper 90. Cam Kelly with the hat trick.
He's going to be elite at the next level. He's one of those guys potentially rotate within the 6 middies. In my opinion, at Notre Dame, rings it off the crossbar. That's 3 for him today. Cam Kelly, as you said, has some of the softest mitts out here.
Beautiful pickup, located his spot, and he made no mistake about it. Kelly will probably compete for minutes immediately at Notre Dame, and I could see him in the attack position or as an offensive midfielder. Making them. He could be a matchup nightmare coming out of the box, getting a short stick.
He just looks like an athlete.
Yeah.
Two-way guy. You know how Corrigan loves those two-way guys. We just talked about the football guys, Matt Jeffries and Faison. He's going to be all over the field.
Nolting headed to Johns Hopkins. Merrill guarded once again by Oliver Skeen. Skeen headed to Maryland. His special talent, he is a juggler.
Wow. The young generation's taken off.
I'm telling you. Brendan Millen on the restart. Gets it up top to Jackson Marr. Merrill back over to Marr. Presses the edge, shoots it high, and scores. Jackson Marr using his length and his height to get his arms away from his body, and he goes high to high on Aiden Seibel. This is not bad defense, forcing him down the alley, but when you have the long arms of number 21 in red, you use it to your advantage. He does just that and makes the score 7-6 as the Americans get back to within 1. Right out the front door. Diaz-Matos shot. Seibel able to suck that one up. Gets it out to Matthew McCain. check that. That's Quinn Ball. Ball ends up in the stick of Josh Marcus, who's had an impressive first half here. Gets it up to Jake Bickle. Actually, that's Tentillo. Short stick D midi headed to Duke. Ty Chenard headed to Army. Over to Millen, being guarded by McFarland. Millen looking to get top side. Little whip shot. Seibel is able to fight that one off. Ball rolls out. Possession stays with the Americans. Seibel read that one well. Gary Merrill moving to Cage. Gets it up top to Luke Bear. Bear out of St. Paul's is able to beat the trail check, but Seibel slams the door and makes a nice save. And then a beautiful outlet pass to number 11, Parker McDonald. He'll head to the University of North Carolina. Teddy Lally headed to Notre Dame. Will restart the action. Being guarded by Bryce Lyden. Loose ball. Picked up by the Nationals. This is Cran. And a timeout is taken by Nationals head coach Gene McCabe, the bench boss at Washington and Lee. And he'll settle his troops down. 7-6 is our score. A timeout on the field. We're back with more right after this.
The 2025 National Senior All-American Game is presented by Nike Lacrosse, title sponsor of the National Senior All-American Game. Baltimore Crabs, locally grown, nationally known. Centers for Advanced Orthopedics, celebrating 100 years of orthopedic excellence. And CustomTents.com, custom canopies, frame tents, and rentals, made in the USA. The 2025 National Senior All-American Game is presented by Ghost, legendary hydration. Drink Ghost. Lacrosse Wear, the industry leader in custom uniforms since 2001. Next Pro, your game, your highlights, the trusted source for athletes and their clubs for game media. And the National Lacrosse Federation, creating competitive events for the nation's top talent.
Referee Scott Rayburn ready to restart action. Nationals lead the Americans 7-6. 1 minute left to go here in the second quarter. We'll see what head coach Gene McCabe cooked up. It couldn't have been that. Errant pass. Here come the Americans. Nice save by Seibel. Underhand offering from Millen. After Tantillo started the transition. 40 seconds. Good run of the field. Little bounce pass. Doesn't find its mark, but picked up by Lally. Slings it wide. Backed up by the Nationals with just over 30 seconds left to play. Aggressive defense behind the cage by Nick Voltis. Ortlieb gets around the crease, and Marcus is there to meet him. And the backspin almost carried that one over the goal line, but Marcus is able to corral it. Robbie Hopper, 5 seconds left. Hopper being ridden by Bogue Hahn. Gets a stick back, and Seibel makes a beautiful offside save. Taps Hopper on the helmet and says, good try, but not this time. Terrific job by Aiden Seibel. Struggled a little bit earlier in the game, but came back with 4 or 5 really nice saves. And there you see the sportsmanship and the respect between these athletes. Seibel and Hopper have battled each other throughout their high school careers. Let's go down to the field. We've got Mitchell Pelkey with Nationals head coach Gene McCabe.
Coach, how are you doing?
Terrific.
Going into the halftime up, what's been the mindset?
Well, I think their goalie was hot in the first quarter there. Made a bunch of terrific saves. I thought we had some good shots. Coming into the second quarter, we just focused on maybe trying to create a little bit more assisted goals. And I think we did that really well. There's some great individual efforts there. Quinn Kelly, 22 down here, was terrific. But I don't know, it's an up-and-down game. And a bunch of terrific talent here. It's fun to see, fun to be part of it.
Some of the best talent as they head into their freshman year at college. These guys not having as much time to get the chemistry down. What's been the position as the head coach?
Well, I think it's clear when you watch these guys play that they've been coached very well and they're just very talented. They know how to play the game. Just watching them, there's a bunch of instinctual things they're doing really well at a high level. And, you know, it is possible to develop a little bit of chemistry in games like this, and I'm actually seeing that come together, which is really cool.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great job, Mitchell. Thanks, Coach McCabe, for a couple of minutes. The first quarter was defined by getting familiar with one another. The second quarter, terrific offense, great plays, and goals scored. The Nationals lead the Americans at halftime 7-6.
Locally grown, nationally known. We are Crabs Lacrosse. For over 3 decades, parents have chosen us to help their sons develop a path to becoming college lacrosse players. Crabs Lacrosse is more than a collection of teams. We are a family. At Crabs Lacrosse, we focus on being 3 things. Always about our players, deliberate in our development, and focused on a positive experience and positive outcomes. Join us at Crabs Lacrosse.
In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these two. Oh, this is going to be fun. Too much fun? No such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So, come discover somewhere to smile about.
Ortho Maryland has been servicing the community with orthopedic excellence for 100 years. With 4 locations in Baltimore and Harford counties, we offer same-day and next-day appointments, convenient online scheduling, on-site x-ray, and walk-in orthopedic care 7 days a week. From children to seniors, elite athletes to weekend warriors, our orthopedic specialists and physical therapists are ready to keep you active, thriving, and in the game. When life can't wait, Ortho Maryland is here when you need us. For more information or to schedule an appointment, reach us at orthomaryland.net.
For 2025, Toyota is the best resale value brand for the 5th year in a row. Proving that Toyota quality and reliability also means affordability and savings. So choose Toyota, a brand built on confidence and driven by trust. Now buy a Camry, Corolla, or Prius, all with 4.99% APR financing for 5 years. Toyota, let's go places.
2025 National All-Star Senior Game out here with McCabe Millen. 2023 MVP this game. How does it feel to be back in the stands?
Yeah, it feels great. Really looking forward to getting to watch my brother out here. So much talent at this game, so really looking forward to watching.
Your brother's obviously attending UVA next year to play with you back. Obviously, you guys had the experience at McDonough, but now down in Charlottesville. How does that feel to be back on the field with him?
Yeah, man, I can't wait. We have such a tight relationship, and growing up, just imagining what it would be like to be able to play together for in college and high school, and now to be able to have that opportunity again is really exciting. So, can't wait to get him down to Charlottesville, and really looking forward to it.
A lot of UVA guys out here. The stack class coming down to Charlottesville this year. How excited are you?
Psyched. Coming off a little bit of a tough year for us, we're really looking forward to coming out and getting back to bringing the excellence that we have in Charlottesville. So. Really looking forward to getting our guys to grounds and getting going.
Awesome. Thanks, McCabe.
Thanks, Mitch.
Join us this summer for the 13th Annual National ID Lacrosse Camp, a traditional, old-school, stay-away teaching camp where the focus is player development. Every year, our staff is comprised of multiple Division I players and coaches, so everyone who attends can learn from the best in the game. Spaces are limited, so don't delay. Apply today. Visit us at crabslax.com.
What happens when a world-class luxury vehicle meets a luxurious first-class facility? You call it Sheehy Lexus of Annapolis. Right now, visit us in-store and choose from a great selection of new Lexus vehicles. Or build your own deal however you want and wherever you are at SheehyLexusOfAnnapolis.com. With an unmatched combination of selection, service, and purchasing flexibility, it's never been easier to find the perfect Lexus at Sheehy Lexus of Annapolis.
For 2025, Toyota is the best resale value brand for the 5th year in a row. Meaning Toyota has proven to outperform the competition, which can mean thousands in savings when the time comes to trade in. Buy a Toyota RAV4 or Grand Highlander now with 4.99% APR financing for 5 years. Toyota, let's go places.
Pleased to be joined by Greg Keneally, the founder of ECD, and what a great success story your company is. What was the origin of the company? What was your thought process, and how have you seen it grown?
Well, it's been a ton of fun. I'm blessed to work in the sport of lacrosse. Nothing better to do. In college and my whole life, I strung sticks. There's a picture of me on Christmas morning opening a piece of mesh like it was the best thing I could have ever received when I was very young. So in college, I strung sticks, and out of college, I had a year before going to grad school, and thought I'd just try and make it a little gig I could make some money at. Started making some mesh coated in wax in the basement, and from there it just kind of took off on our website. The product really grabbed hold. We started making content right when YouTube got popular, and it really was just like straight up through the mid-teens, 2000s. It was an unbelievable ride.
How would you best describe the current situation with ECD and the growth that you've experienced?
Well, we've had a great couple years. We've strung a good couple years together. We have heads for every position now. We continue to really grind on content. That's why I'm here tonight at this fantastic event. A big thing for us, we have a new headquarters we'll be moving into late next year. We purchased a building. It was in Baltimore Business Journal, right around the corner, which will be unbelievable, 85,000 square feet.
That is terrific. And what does the future hold for ECD?
More products, more content, more love for the sport, hopefully getting more kids to start playing.
Greg, thanks so much for joining us. And this is halftime. We're back with second half action coming up.
Locally grown, nationally known. We are Crabs Lacrosse. For over 3 decades, parents have chosen us to help their sons develop a path to becoming college lacrosse players. Crabs Lacrosse is more than a collection of teams. We are a family. At Crabs Lacrosse, we focus on being 3 things. Always about our players, deliberate in our development, and focused on a positive experience and positive outcomes. Join us at Crabs Lacrosse.
For 2025, Toyota is the best resale value brand for the 5th year in a row. Proving that Toyota quality and reliability also means affordability and savings. So choose Toyota, a brand built on confidence and driven by trust. Now buy a Camry, Corolla, or Prius, all with 4.99% APR financing for 5 years. Toyota, let's go places.
In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these two. They're all about having fun. That's fun. This is fun. Whoa. Too much fun? Nah, no such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So head to the coast and, well, just coast. Pump up the volume, or just pump up the pool floaty. From the boardwalk to the bay, come discover somewhere to smile about.
Back here at halftime of the 2025 National Senior Lacrosse All-American game. The Nationals leading the Americans 7-6. Going to throw it back down on the field to Mitchell Pelkey with a special guest, America's goalie.
We have Caleb Fyock, a.k.a. Big Tasty, Ohio State starting goalie. Caleb, take us through this past year, a monumental year for the Buckeyes.
No, yeah, it was a great year. It was a roller coaster of a season. We accomplished a lot this season. We set our goals out. But, yeah, so it was a great year overall.
Jake Struck, midfielder out here. You'll be playing with him next year. How excited are you for that?
No, yeah, I'm really excited just seeing him against other competition, high-level kids. I mean, it's all American game. It's great to see another Buckeye out there.
Definitely. Thanks, Caleb.
Always good to see Big Tasty in the house. First team All-American for Ohio State University. We're going to go back down to Mitchell who has got Americans head coach, Peter Toner.
2, 1. Coach, thought process coming out of the locker room into the second half.
Just regrouping a little bit. Guys were talking amongst themselves. Just a couple ideas offensively, defensively. I think they're playing pretty well. Got to shoot a little bit better, and obviously back the cage up when we shoot.
Definitely. Some of the best high school players in the country out in this field. How's it been to be able to coach them, obviously, as they're going to go on to prestigious universities?
It's been fun. Really impressive young men. Just great kids, great attitudes, super talented, and I'm looking forward to watching them throughout their career at the next level.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Peter Toner.
Thanks, Coach.
Letting us know some of the things that the Americans team has to do to get back into a winning position in this game. Entertaining first half. We get a look at Bear and Chenard. Back to the face-off dot we go. Robbie Hopper gobbles up another ground ball off the wing. Gets it up to Bear. Over to Merrill. Bear and Merrill will be teammates at North Carolina come this fall. Another one of their teammates, Anthony Rayo, out with an injury. Johnny Price over to Ollie Nolting. Anthony Drago playing some defense for the Nationals. Ball gets thrown away. Over and back. Nationals have it. Drago, head of steam. Gives it up to Triolo, who can't handle. Then picks it up in the corner momentarily. Then Gavin Cooper checking into the game. He's an Army. Our halftime stats brought to you by Rehab to Perform. As expected, a high volume of shots. Both goaltenders, Seibel and Marcus, played very well. 9 and 8 saves. The cause turnovers. Nationals winning the ground ball battle. And they are in possession with a 1-goal lead. Mitchell, you had the opportunity to go down on field level. What's the vibe?
The vibe's serious. The vibe's serious. These guys want to win. A little halftime regrouping. And obviously we see one here out of red.
Bounce shot from Johnny Price. Dialing up long distance. He will go to Georgetown University, and a lefty in transition just stops, drops, and pops. High bouncers will go, and that is a beautiful shot from Price.
We talked to Coach. He said in the halftime, it's a lot of senior leadership. You know, these guys will definitely be playing and helping their universities. The leadership out here is amongst the best.
Roxbury Latin product, Johnny Price. His family has a history at Loyola Blakefield, nearby high school, as well as Georgetown University. So he'll be continuing the family legacy on the hilltop. So we knew you were going to talk to Gene McCabe and Peter Toner, but America wants to know, how did you secure the exclusive with Big Tasty?
Big Tasty he's one of one of a kind, for sure. I mean, he's got the hat on, he's got the shades, the sun's down. He is one of one and came off a great year.
First team All-American.
First team All-American, getting some hardware for the Buckeyes, first time Big Ten champions.
Yeah.
So he definitely deserves all the press.
New goaltenders between the pipes for each ball club. Chandler McClements, he will head to the University of Pennsylvania, manning the cage for the Nationals. And Matthew McCain headed to Notre Dame, number 2 in red. Between the pipes for the Americans. Great crowd, beautiful night. Almost like the calm before the storm. I think we're getting some pretty warm weather coming over the next week or so. Nice little looping outlet pass, snared by Oliver Skeen. Shot goes over top, and possession stays with the Nationals. So you've been in these guys' shoes before. You know, a graduating high school senior, ready to go play lacrosse at a big-time school, Ohio State, great conference, Big Ten, tremendous facilities, big school too. What piece of advice would you give these guys as they enter into the next stage of their athletic and academic careers?
I would say it starts this summer. This summer is going to depict your freshman year. I remember talking to Marcus Holman. He said the freshman been going into his freshman year at UNC. He said, I want to go in and be the most dominant, the most physical, the most athletic. And that's what these guys need to do. They need to take this summer as essentially a first season going into their freshman fall.
It's a lot, and it is a big jump no matter how talented you are. And there we're seeing some talent from number 19, Owen Cran. Favorite movie is The Dark Knight. Are you familiar with that one, or is
I know that
too
one.
long ago?
That came out 2012. Young Mitch Pelkey was 12 years old. I remember watching. It was a little long for my taste. I think we're hitting 3 hours there.
That was a classic, though. That was the Joker, right?
Yes,
that
yes,
was
yep.
Heath Ledger. Legendary performance. You want to see a trick? Want to see a magic trick? Remember that one?
I do.
Watch me make this pencil disappear. Robbie Hopper, another ground ball. Good defense being applied by Gavin Cooper.
The Spider Hopper. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but a guy we're really excited to see it down in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Taking that position to Ben Ware. And to what UVA could do, you guys just heard from McCabe Millen. This year it's going to be special down in Charlottesville. And the Final Four is down there this year.
Unbelievable news when you consider the reasoning with the World Cup being in the United States next year. Your traditional sites, Foxborough, the Link in Philadelphia, not available. I tell you what was available. Gavin Lynch on the run. Harry Potter guy waving the wand and sticking it high to high.
We got a little celly here, too. Look at that. Bing bong. There it is. You know we got to get it. And watch what the little celly. After the boys, we're not going to get it. But
that's okay.
Chaminade. Coach just retired. Talk to us about Coach Moran. Did you know him at all?
I met Coach Moran when he was coaching another All-Star game years and years and years ago that I was a part of, and just sat down with him for a few minutes. Really nice man. Know his son Ryan. Played at Maryland, assistant coaching stints at Loyola, among other places. Maryland is alma mater, and now the head coach at UMBC. Just a really nice guy. You know, that's my biggest. It's been a number of years since I chatted with Coach Moran. I just remember him being a genuine, nice person. Nolting in transition with the shot, fought off by McClements. Battling for the ground ball. Chenard, nice takeaway check. Keeps possession with the Americans. But it's just kind of crazy to think, you know, I don't know the exact number of years Coach Moran coached at Chaminade, but when you look at the legends of the game and they step down, you're like, holy cow, you know, to dedicate that much of your life to a school, to a group of athletes, a group of students. It's impressive.
It's crazy. You know, you have Tom Schreiber, the Kavanaughs, Entenmann. I mean, the list goes on and on. There was a stat the other day of all the Chaminade players and all the St. Anthony players, and it's really historical.
It's my buddy Scott Malik, a proud Chaminade Johns Hopkins graduate. They're called the Flyers. Not the Flyers, it's the Flyers.
Got your accent.
Nice little one-timer. Beautiful pass from number 24, Bo Popham. He'll head to Notre Dame, and he feeds down low to Matt Triolo, who one-times at home.
Matt Triolo on that 91 squad up north. A lot of battles between 91 Long Island, 91 Maryland with Brendan Millen, Bo Kahn, and Aiden Seibel. We're going to continue to see those match up as a lot of those guys are headed to ACC ball.
ACC, Big Ten, well represented here. Big East, Ivy League, Patriot League, a couple Army guys in this game. Jacksonville. Great array of talent. Oh, that'll put some starch in your shirt. Refs are letting him play. Will Tantillo headed to Duke, lowering the boom. There's Hopper. Saved by McClements. McClements has a fake tooth. I know another goaltender who's got a fake tooth. James Ireland, University of Virginia. Used to pull that thing out every now and again. It was a conversation starter for sure.
We call that a party trick.
Oh, yeah. Business has definitely picked up over the last couple of minutes. Here we're going to see the big hit. Clean? No?
I like it.
All right.
I like it. Ref Dixon, what do we got?
They didn't call it on the field. I'm not going to second-guess him up here in the booth. Shot by Merrill off of the restart. He pots it top shelf. The Americans tied this thing up at 9-all.
Gary Merrill, a staple, second in this class coming into college. UNC as a whole has the best recruiting class. In your opinion, are you a big fan of the dual sport athletes at the next level? Gary's playing both football and lacrosse at UNC. Are you a fan?
I'm neutral on it. I don't know. I know how hard it is having two sons playing Division I lacrosse. I know how hard it is for them to play the one sport. I can't imagine if you introduced a second sport, let alone one as physical and as taxing as football. Hey, listen, that's a very, very special breed of student athlete that we're talking about. So if you can do it, why not? I guess getting back to our earlier conversation, so let's use Dante Trader from the University of Maryland as an example. Played lacrosse for 2 years, right? 2 years. And then when it became a possibility of him going to the league, drop lacrosse. What if that is the path for Faison? What if that is the path for Matt Jeffrey? What does that, you got to make that decision, and that could end up leaving a hole in your roster from a lacrosse perspective.
That's the tough part as the coach.
Matt Higgins with the finish, getting it done around the cage. About Maryland, the pickups in the portal that they've gotten, chief amongst them, you have got Lyons and Leo Johnson coming from Yale, and you've got an attack unit. Spanos, Urksa are back. Higgins comes in. How's it going to shake out in College Park?
I don't know. I think it could potentially play out perfect, right? You have Daniel Kelly, the lefty, who's graduated. Higgins coming in, playing that lefty spot. It could be good. Coach Tillman always loves to put that, offensive star right into the mix. We saw it with Spanos, we saw the Urksa. We saw that with a lot of these guys. So I could potentially see him starting or getting a lot of minutes day one.
Yeah, and I think what happens at Maryland, you might be a star in high school. You get to Maryland, and you're a cog in the machine. I think, as you mentioned, Coach Tillman and their offensive coordinator, Mike Phipps, does such a great job of sharing the ball. It's a we, not a me mentality. Man, it's just, what do they say, death taxes in Maryland being in the national championship game?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Great transition goal right there from the Nationals. That's Jake Struck, headed to Ohio State. Good to see for the Buckeye Nation.
We just talked to Big Tasty down there, and I asked him how excited is he to play with Jake Strutt. Obviously, out here just scored that goal, and he said he's super excited. Brings an element of positivity, and that's a typical Nick Myers style recruit. Big body, a guy that we would call a dog at Ohio State that would play both offense and defense, can kind of two-way mid-yet. And, potentially a farm boy. Don't know exactly where Jake's from, but a guy that potentially played all sports and loves the game of lacrosse.
Hit a hole-in-one.
Wow.
As his fun fact. So
have you done that yet?
No.
Neither have I.
No. I don't think that'll ever happen, quite honestly. Jake Struck hailing from Olentangy Liberty. That is I tell you what, that is the one street in Columbus I always know. Olentangy. The river, the street, the road, everything, Olentangy.
Coach Myers say that first day. Everything flows through the Olentangy.
He's not wrong. Columbus, I have to say, has grown on me. Spending time in, you got the, what's the one? Well, you got the North End Market.
Yep.
Terrific.
Yep.
The burger, Thurman's.
Thurman's,
the
classic.
Best burger. I mean, those burgers are incredibly, ridiculously good. And then it's, is it Town Hall?
Town Hall?
That is a great place.
You made an appearance.
Oh, I've been, whenever I go to Columbus, I go to Town Hall.
Okay.
It is terrific.
Town Hall is a classic.
Yeah. Love that place. 11-9, Nationals leading the Americans. When you look at Ohio State, again, a program that they scored the offense really came into its own this year. But when you look at them defensively, Bobby Van Buren, help me, is he back? Did he graduate? I think he might be back.
Yeah, he is back. So
Yeah.
his junior year, he had a leg or ankle issue,
Yeah.
redshirted.
Okay.
Obviously, this was his senior year. They won the Big Ten championship, so he's back. The whole defense is returning.
You got Brown, Van Buren, Foster. Wow.
And you have Tasty and Net. So the defensive unit at Ohio State, no worries. The offensive unit, a lot of guys graduated.
Yeah.
Coach will definitely be in the portal. This upcoming class has to step up. And they got some guys in the reserve. So if they can figure out the offensive front, they'll be a good team.
Well, you just hit the word portal. Were you affected by that in your time at Ohio State? And if you were or you weren't, how do you view the transfer portal these days for, guys that are coming in for a year, maybe 2, but mostly it's just a year versus guys who have been recruited and are being developed, but you bring those guys in and it's that more top-down approach.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I think my freshman year was COVID. So every year after that, it was essentially affected. So some would say we have it the worst. Some would say we have it the best. But I think I was. I mean, at the end of the day, you would see guys that maybe were at smaller schools that put up 50, 60 points, then get an opportunity at D1. And we're still seeing that. Obviously, it's a lesser amount now with COVID being done. But I'm a fan of it. I think to give a kid an opportunity, why not? And at the end of the day, there's some kids that we've seen that are late bloomers in high school, go to a smaller school, kill it, and then go to a powerhouse and continue to put up big numbers. So if a kid can get a better opportunity through the portal, why not?
Yeah, it's here to stay. Of course, lacrosse isn't as bad as and when I say bad, I mean the numbers. When you talk about the University of Maryland that just got a new basketball coach with an entirely new roster, 1 through 15, brand new, that is something.
It's crazy. We talk about it a ton on the show. The aspect of the portal, do you think it'll ever get to a point that it's at with football and basketball right now?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Too many numbers. You're talking – we just got the roster cap, so we'll see first and foremost how that plays into things, cap of 48. But I don't think you're going to see, an entire roster disappear for a lacrosse team. You got to bring in 40 new guys. And I don't mean to laugh, but that's what's happening in college basketball.
Definitely.
First flag of the night, shot. Nice save by Matthew McCain. McCain is an artist, a drawer, and a painter. That time using his hands to make a beautiful save. We're going to have our first extra man opportunity of the evening for either ball club. Brought to you by Ghost Beverage. Referee Scott Rayburn almost laughing as he adjudicates the foul to the benches. I kind of like to see Tasty get into it with the refs. That might be.
I don't know if he still has the shades on or not. The hat's a little low, but he's fitting the part.
6-on-5. Nationals looking to extend their lead. The extra man opportunity brought to you by Ghost Beverage. Nice little skip pass shot. Higgins rings it off the post. Good pickup. Hopper, the spider as you call him, tried to split the ride. Ends up getting possession back to the Nationals. They still have time on this man-up opportunity. Shot saved by McCain.
Yeah, we talk about Hopper, the spider, the MIAA this year, the championship game, one of the best we've seen in a long time. Overtime, obviously Calvert Hall wins it. In your opinion, and try not to be biased here, is the MIAA the best high school conference in the nation?
I played in the MSA with your father. Then it became the MIA. That was a million years ago. But I've had two boys play in the league. I think it is, but I don't like what it's becoming. I don't like all the out-of-state stuff. I don't like the boarding stuff. It used to be a league where, and look, the whole landscape has changed, and I guess folks are going to say, okay, Dixon's getting into the get off my lawn kind of. But it used to be special to be from Catonsville or Lutherville or Loch Raven and say, I want to play at Calvert Hall. I want to play at Loyola. Now you have guys that are from out of state. So I do think it is still one of the toughest, if not the toughest leagues in the nation, but not what it used to be.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what remains the same. The talent level in this senior national all-star game, the Nationals leading the Americans 11-9. Some great goaltending, terrific offense, a little bit of transition thrown in there for good measure. 15 minutes to decide a winner.
Join us this summer for the 13th Annual National ID Lacrosse Camp, a traditional, old-school, stay-away teaching camp where the focus is player development. Every year, our staff is comprised of multiple Division I players and coaches, so everyone who attends can learn from the best in the game. Spaces are limited, so don't delay. Apply today. Visit us at crabslax.com.
For 2025, Toyota is the best resale value brand for the 5th year in a row. With 3 of the top 5 vehicles, including Tacoma, ranked #1. Proving that Toyota quality means affordability today and trade-in values you can trust tomorrow. Right now, lease a Tacoma for just $259 a month, or buy one with 3.75% APR financing. Toyota, let's go places.
In Ocean City, Maryland, having fun is kind of our thing. I mean, look at these two. Oh, this is going to be fun. Too much fun? No such thing. Because here, even leg day is fun. So, come discover somewhere to smile about.
The 2025 National Senior All-American Game is presented by Ocean City, Maryland. Something to smile about. Rehab to Perform. Stay ready to perform with Rehab to Perform physical therapy. Don't be left on the sidelines. And the Rogers Knapp Group of Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. Personalized strategies for your long-term goals.
Welcome back. 12 minutes. We'll do it. Start of the 4th quarter. Good pickup. Momentarily. What a save. Matthew McCain, Splitsville, denies the opportunity. Kai Smith had won that faceoff, and there we see a nifty goal.
We haven't seen too many like this. A little around-the-world action. A little around-the-world action. Your boy, Miguel, around the world on Matty McCain. You got to love that. We might be seeing that on Inside Lacrosse, TLN, ECD.
Iglesias headed to Notre Dame, making some sweet music around the world. How hard is a shot like that in a game?
Oh, tremendous. We're not seeing too many people do that. I think the Kavanaughs were one of the best at it. You know, they made it look so natural in some of the biggest games in college lacrosse. And even what we just saw from Chris the other day, the fake shot and then decides, let me just go back between the legs on one of the best goalies ever, Blaze Reardon. We don't see that too often.
Cran, left-handed shot on the run. That was a great save. Off-stick side, little windshield wiper action, and not only did McCain make that save, gave up no rebounds, caught it clean. McFarland now with the pickup. Nationals up by 3. Long pass goes out of bounds. Again, our head coaches of the Nationals, Gene McCabe, led Washington and Lee to another successful season. And then Peter Toner of the Gettysburg Bullets, team that's perennially knocking on the door. Both these programs like knocking on the door. Washington and Lee, of course, in 2024, the upset of Salisbury in the quarterfinals.
How cool was it to see Dickinson this year?
That was what a run
by
the Red Devils. Nice shot by Gary Merrill. High-to-high heat. Merrill putting on a show. He might be in contention for the mop, right? Most outstanding player?
Maybe the Josh Marcus play was a little bit early.
Hey, you stuck with it, man. I gotta hand it to you.
That might be 4 for Gary. Again, a guy that can, in my opinion, do it all. Can play a little defensive mid. He can play a little offense. Guy that played attack for his travel team up on Long Island. Obviously at a fan favorite of a high school St. Anthony's with other legends like O'Neal and McAdory. A guy that is going to be playing again, both football and lacrosse down there at UNC for Coach Petra Mala and Bill Belichick.
Nice face-off win from Diaz Matas. Favorite food that his mother makes? That was a question that all the guys were asked, and most were like chicken parm, a good steak. His answer? Peanut butter and jelly.
You crunchy peanut butter or creamy?
I'm a creamy guy. How about you?
I'm crunchy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your brand?
Oh, I'm like the all natural guy.
You got to watch out with the oils.
Calories. Yeah, yes,
peanut
yes,
butter,
yes,
the oils.
yes.
Anything with oil. The 2 ingredients should be peanuts and salt.
Yeah.
So Costco,
that.
man. Yeah, I'm an old fat guy, but even I know that.
Yeah.
Nationals able to withstand that little push from the Americans. Kelly, he likes this end of the field. He scored 3 goals in the second quarter. Now we see him off the dribble. Draws a couple of red jerseys. How about Brendan Millen playing some defense for the Americans? Number 9 in red. Loose ball. Picked up by Kelly. Coming around the cage again. Gets horse-collared. Taken down. Out of the scrum comes the Americans. Grayson Dunn. Hopper. Underhand. Marr shot. Rings it off the iron. Possession will stay with the Americans. Let's see, we got Millen running some midfield. Out of the box is Gavin Lynch. Lynch on the run. He stings it off of the near post. We've seen a lot of pipe shots here tonight. Lynch kisses it off the crossbar. It went bar down. No replay tonight, though.
No replay tonight. There's another one.
We'll take a look at it right here. Little inside roll.
Ooh.
Not a goal, but still pretty.
Definitely a lot of pipes here. And
yeah.
What a beautiful night here in Sparks, Maryland.
It is gorgeous.
Sun's going down. Great weather.
Yeah.
See a lot of flip-flops. This is what it's all about.
It's about that time of year. I know you're doing a lot of work this summer. You're headed up to Delaware after this game, but any vacation plans, Mitchell?
I got a little 4th of July play. Whoa!
Nice play by Gavin Lynch. He was knocking on the door. That time he slips underneath the defense, catches it, and has a clean finish.
We're getting a little bit fancy here. This is kind of traditional here in these all-star, all-American games. And you got to love that. But fake between the legs, a little Chaminade-esque. As Kavanaughs were there, probably learn from those guys, but you're going to love it. I think we're going to see a little bit more there here in the 4th.
Lynch was hungry for that score, gets it in fashionable style. So you were saying 4th of July?
4th of July, we're going to do a little Florida with the family.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So 4th of July, a little dead period.
Yeah.
Obviously going to take time. What about yourself?
Headed to Lake Placid, end of July.
You playing?
No, I will not be playing. My kids will be playing, but my wife and I are going to go up and going up early to enjoy some R&R in Lake Placid. We always head to the beach, Ocean City, Maryland, once or twice for a long weekend. Thankfully, we have friends who have a place down there. And then we are going to Charleston, South Carolina, towards the end of August.
I love that. I was just in Charleston for one of my camps.
Okay.
Beautiful spot.
Like it?
Lacrosse is growing down there. We had a good turnout.
Okay.
And it's cool to see lacrosse in Charleston. We had one in Atlanta and Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
To see some good numbers down there, it really shows how much the sport has grown.
Bogan gets inside. Crease violation. He scored, but the referees take it away. Hong has hit a crossbar tonight. Now he's in the crease. Han's father, Matt, for a long time, held the Maryland goals record until it was broken by Matt Rambo back in 2017. Robbie Hopper was inside. Just yanked that one a little bit high. You can see the disappointment. Millen off the feed from Bear. Approaching the 7-minute mark, Nationals up by 1 on the Americans. Can the Americans get the equalizer? Bear over the shoulder bouncer. Merrill, quick change of direction. Nice defense by Cran. So Owen Cran, a little two-way action. We've seen him score some goals, and there he has a nice takeaway. Now leading transition on the run. Just wide. Possession stays with Blue.
The amount of talent on this field is crazy. I think, games like this really show how much the game is elevating, right? From when you were playing to the early 2000s to even now, the game is elevated so much within the technology and the sticks to even the skills to the accessibility these guys have to be able to watch on YouTube and different other platforms.
Nice run to cage. That is Teddy Lally for the Nationals. Thayer Academy in Massachusetts. Gets underneath and gets that Nationals lead back up to a pair. Not only you talk about the technology, but nutrition is so different these days, and the rules have really made this such a fast game. I mean, when I played, the ball went off the end line, the ball went out of the sideline, you had a horn. Everything was horn, and that's where the specialization came in of long stick midfield, short stick defensive midfield, that kind of thing. Now it's just up and down, up and down, up and down.
The game's gotten a lot faster.
Big time.
Fastest game on 2 feet. It's been exciting to see, and obviously with the explanation and people trying different things at the PLL, seeing how that game's changed and how fast that is with the shot clock and the rules, and it's only going to get faster, obviously, here in 28 with the Olympics, so it's going to be exciting to see.
Mm-hmm. Big weekend of lacrosse here in Baltimore. You got this National All-Star Game. You got Crab Feast, one of the best tournaments in the country in the summer. Kicks off tomorrow at various locations around Baltimore and Harford counties. Premier Lacrosse League is in town at Homewood Field. The professionals pulling up in Charm City.
Charm City. Why do they call it Charm City?
Good question. I don't know. I've never asked that. We've had a lot of slogans over the years. City that reads. It's your Baltimore. Don't trash it. All different kinds of campaigns. We just got told that Charm City came from one of the greatest mayors, if not the greatest in the history of the city, William Donald Schaefer. Legend. You have to ask your dad about him.
Little history lesson here on a Friday night.
Teddy Lally, another goal. You ever play the card game Uno?
Yes.
Guess who is an Uno champion, according to his bio?
I'm gonna go Josh Marcus.
Close. Cam Kelly.
Okay.
Uno champion.
Wow. We gotta like this matchup. Brendan on Vogue, two best friends, played together the whole life.
High school and club. Milling gets the better of it. Shimmies inside, a couple of fakes, and then he gives the long look to his buddy Bogan. I mean, listen, if that's me and one of my buddies and he beats me like that, I'm tackling him.
Yeah.
I am tackling him. He is not getting to
As
the cage.
as Millen was coming up the hash, if I'm Bogue, I'm putting the shoulder into the chest.
Millen again headed to the University of Virginia. Play with his older brother McCabe. Truett Sunderland is back. Kyle Colsey is back. Ryan Colsey. I get the Colsey brothers mixed up.
How much of a extra piece of motivation is it going to be for those guys to know the championship week and the Final Four is at their home?
I mean, the worst thing that we hear consistently, especially in the Big Ten, is when you're hosting the tournament and you're not in it. So that was Michigan this past season. Ohio State last year. Coaches will tell you they do not like it when other teams are playing on their field, using their facilities, and they're not part of the party. So I think it's going to be, I mean, you have the motivation just right off the bat, the motivation of a disappointing 2025 season, and now the game's biggest stage comes to Charlottesville. They're going to want to be invited, no doubt.
Definitely. That's one of those things. Day one down in Charlottesville, that'll be on the big board. Let's get the championship weekend and tell everyone this is our home.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, a lot of question marks. You know, Kip Turner, their primary recruiter, stepping away from coaching. Did a great job there for a number of years. Some transfers, some fresh faces. I mean, they had 4 freshmen. Colsey's one of them, now transferred to Duke, but they had, 4 freshmen last year that all redshirted due to injury. They'll hopefully be back. The 3 of them, Ryan Dunkel amongst them, be back to help Virginia compete in 2026. Timeout being taken by Peter Toner with 3:17 left, down 14-12. It's all fun and games, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to win. And Toner doing everything he can to make sure his team is prepared. Stick around. We've got a good finish coming up.
The 2025 National Senior All-American Game is presented by Nike Lacrosse, title sponsor of the National Senior All-American Game. Baltimore Crabs, locally grown, nationally known. Centers for Advanced Orthopedics, celebrating 100 years of orthopedic excellence. And CustomTents.com, custom canopies, frame tents, and rentals, made in the USA.
Nick Cardio, defensive coordinator at Gettysburg, Penn State All-American, getting his troops ready to go out and have a big defensive stand here, trying to keep this a 2-goal game. The Nationals leading the Americans. And we've hit on where these guys are going to college, where they went to high school. When you talk about the club programs that these guys play at, Massachusetts, Team 91, whether it's Long Island, Maryland, Primetime, Brotherly Love, Eclipse out of Connecticut. We've got the Long Island Express. We hit Primetime. I mean, there's a lot of Primetime kids out here. We mentioned Crab Feast and the Crabs producing so many tremendous high school, college players. Really is a impressive scene when you consider the time, energy, and commitment that these folks put in. Shot on the run, and that is a thing of beauty. Number 21 in blue, Jake Struck.
The Ohio State. And he's back up, pings top right. He looks good. You talk about the travel teams. I think it's so cool now to see so many different teams. Back when I was playing almost 10 years ago, wow. Haven't said that live
Old
yet.
hat.
That's interesting.
Old hat.
There was the traditional Mad Lacs, Crabs, FCA. You just run down the list of teams that weren't even that really into it yet.
Yeah. There's some college commitments. The starters for tonight. one player we've seen a little bit of, Parker McDonald from Carolina. They've also got another long stick midi going down there, Jermaine Anderson out of Calvert Hall. He also will try to play some football. And then you're taking a look at some of the, we'll call them reserves, but Will Petticano headed to Duke, Georgetown in there, a couple Notre Dames. Really, it is the rich are getting richer. Who amongst these guys do you think can make an immediate impact?
I've been mentioning Gary Merrill a ton. I think even Grayson Dunn out of Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
He was a guy I watched in the semifinals and the championship of Spalding and the MIAA. Where's that guy going? Delaware. Wow, that's a guy that, in my opinion, can make an immediate impact up in Delaware.
Yeah, Harvard represented in this game. Jacksonville, head coach John Galloway trying to get to that NCAA tournament, knocking on the door for so many years.
How cool is it to see a school like Jacksonville get Division I lacrosse? Back when you were playing, did you ever think that was a possibility?
Never thought of it. No. I mean, it was, back when I played, it was, one of the main reasons I chose Hopkins was the opportunity to compete for a national championship every year. And the new kid on the block when I was playing was Princeton. They won their first of 6 national titles in 1992, I think it was. So. Was not thinking Jacksonville. And really the up-and-coming programs were like Georgetown.
Yeah.
Because they had just hired Dave Urich back then. Little underhand shot. I mean, you want to talk about Army, their 2 commits. Ty Shinard, his pregame, Motley Crue.
Wow. That's your type of guy. Now, That's an Army guy.
Yep.
That's an Army guy.
You want to hear even more of an Army guy? Gavin Cooper, defenseman, long stick midfielder, black belt in Taekwondo.
Wow.
That's Bobby Van Buren vibes right
yeah.
there. Van Buren is I remember we had him on I have my own podcast, the Flying Dixie podcast.
There we go.
We had Bobby on, and 3rd degree black belt. I think it was 3rd degree. But he said, I'm not even the baddest guy on my team. And we're like, who is that? He goes, don't mess with Blake Island.
Yes. Yeah, that guy will. Yeah, there's some characters on that team, but Blake Island is one of those that you meet Blake Island's dad, and you'll be like, this guy is the real deal. A lot of hidden talents on that team, but a black belt, that's got to be a lot of years. A lot of years on the mats.
Less than a minute to go here. Nationals up 15-13. The Americans trying to mount somewhat of a comeback. Starts with this clear. Robbie Hopper, he's been knocking on the door all night, trying to score a goal. Millen, underhand feed. Marr, shot. And he just is able to get it past McClements. And with 38 seconds left, we are not done yet.
Coach said it at halftime. He wants to win. Boys had a lot of leadership in the locker room. You see Brendan with the pass and just slips it in. Jackson Marr, 3rd-ranked kid in the 2025 class, going to UPenn with Murphy in that squad. And the Bulls to Penn connection, it's there.
It is.
We've seen it with Robert Shane in the past.
Till brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting with that squad. And, hey, he just puts the boys within 1.
Big face-off. Little jam action. 1 by Iglesias. Excuse me, that's Quinn Ball. That red helmet threw me off for a second, and now it's Cam Kelly being ragged by Voltis. Gene McCabe watching the proceedings very closely, head coach of the Nationals. He does have a timeout in his pocket, but looks like he might not have to use it. Shot from a little bit of distance. Anthony Drago, and that should do it. Is that a Mitchell Pelkey shot, or you inverted a lot?
I was an invert guy.
Were you a step down?
I was a let me break your ankles, put it on the doorstep guy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the little Italian, I didn't have the range like that.
Whatever you got to do. Drago. And that's a second big face-off win for Quinn Ball when the chips were down, and The Nationals needed him. Number 2 in blue, headed to the University of Pennsylvania, wins the 2 big faceoffs, and that will do it for the 2025 edition of the National Senior Lacrosse All-American Game. The Nationals win at 16-14.
The Nationals, they got it done today. And a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs. Got fun here in the second half. But all a great night down here in Sparks, Maryland. What a beautiful night. Sun is out, no rain. And it's the last time these guys are going to play with some of their teammates and some of their future teammates as they go on to the next 4 years.
Beautiful celebration tonight. The culmination of tremendous high school lacrosse careers. And the next stop, college, for all of these players, their families. The journey will continue. Great competition, a lot of smiles. That's what you love to see. You know, guys congratulating one another, smiling, enjoying the night, enjoying the competition. And that'll do it from USA Lacrosse here in Sparks, Maryland. It's been a tremendous night. Big thank you to all the men and women and our technical crew that brought you all the action. Thank you to ECD and Crabs Lacrosse, and of course Nike. For Mitchell Pelkey, this is Mark Dixon. It's been a great night. Thank you for joining us in Maryland.